Hello, my name is Kyle Tranmyrie. My stage name is Guante. I'm a spoken word poet and an MC and an activist and an educator. But most importantly, I'm coming to Central Lakes College on September 2nd for Student Success Day. This video is just kind of a brief introduction to the kind of work that I do and what you might be able to expect on Student Success Day. Basically, I'll be presenting a keynote at 9 o'clock on the Staples campus, and then another keynote at noon on the Brainerd campus. And I'll just kind of be around all day, helping out with the talent show after lunch, facilitating the workshop in the afternoon, and then just providing support whatever way I can for the PEP Festival at 5 o'clock. All kinds of stuff happening all day, and I'm super grateful and excited to be a part of it. Basically, if you've never heard of me, I forgive you. It's like spoken word is still kind of this underground thing in a lot of ways, despite it being one of the oldest art forms that human beings have. And also just, right now, one of the most dynamic, growing art forms in the country. Basically, I make my living traveling around the country to different colleges and universities mostly. And just sharing my work, performing my poems. It's really important to me, however, that those performances are not just me up on a stage being like, hey, everyone, look how talented and smart I am, right? They're also not me saying, hey, everyone, you should all believe what I have to say. For me, spoken word on a very fundamental level is about creating space to ask questions and creating space to think critically and creating space for basically, conversations about things that we don't always get to have conversations about, from, identity and power and agency and history and all that kind of stuff. So basically, what that means in real life is I write about things like race and gender and class. And I write about these things, I think, partly because sometimes a story or a poem or even just a single image can be a more accessible entry point to have these deeper conversations that we don't always get to have. I think that's one of the most powerful things about art. I can also say very briefly, I've been doing this for a while. I'm a two-time national poetry slam champion. I performed at the United Nations. I've also performed at Soundset and kind of everywhere in between, all over the country. My work has been featured, on Upworthy 3 times, Everyday Feminism, the BBC, MSNBC, Welcome to Night Vale, a million other places, but none of that really matters, right? I could talk about myself, but what I should maybe do instead is just to share a poem. So I want to share one kind of preview of what I'll be doing, one poem. And this particular piece is really informed by what I see as one of the fundamental ideals of spoken word as a culture, which is the idea that everyone has a story. No matter who you are or where you come from, everyone has a story, and every story matters. Every story has value. It's not just about the politicians and the heroes and the icons of the world. It's about us and the ways that we work in solidarity with each other to create the world that we want. It's also just about, the process of telling those stories is powerful. The process of telling those stories is how we build communities. So with all of that in mind, this is a poem about the first job I ever had, which some of you may or may not be able to relate to. It's not rocket science, right? It's a 10-foot piece of rope with a hook at the end of it. We got 3 of them hanging in the equipment shed out back. One of them is thicker, but a little shorter. One of them looks thin as shoelaces, but it's a good half foot longer. If you got first pick, take that one. It looks flimsy, but trust me, you will break before it does. Try to keep up. See, these are the days before robots, and this is a city where people leave their empty apartments, leave their empty SUVs, and finally leave their empty shopping carts here for us. You're going to accept them together with that rope and push them back into the store. When it's busy, grab 10. When it's wild, stack 30 up and we'll push them in together. Just be careful, because these people, they will look right through you when they back out of those spots. When they take that corner at 30 miles per hour, when they forget that they forgot to use a blinker and cuss you out for walking through a crosswalk. See that guy right there? We are background noise, uncredited extras in an 80-year-long made-for-TV romantic comedy that he calls life. We are neurons flickering stupidly, infantry stomping through the dreams you don't remember upon awakening. So make sure you wear comfortable shoes, right? Boots in the winter, sneakers in the summer. Add pads as you grow older. Learn to control a convoy of carts without that rope. Just balance, coordination, and will. Learn to control the fist that lives in your neck when these people just leave their cart sitting in the middle of a parking space, swallow. When they look right through you, swallow. When it's 15 below and a straight jacket will be warmer than these flimsy company coats and you're working a double shift because you've heard rumors of layoffs and the dapper manager saunters up and says, "How's it going, chief?" Understand that they will never understand this. The beauty of a parking lot at twilight, how the sky burns blue, the sweetness of every second when the big hand is on the 11, the smile of the person who actually looks at you. We betray ourselves for $7 an hour. Our native language is white noise. Cartpushers, cashiers, janitors, bartenders, servers. We are an army fighting a war we don't believe in a country whose name we can't pronounce, but we're fighting. And we're tired, but we're fighting. And we're losing, but we're fighting. You get 2 15s in a half hour for lunch. Those breaks, they're not for your body, though. They're to keep you from going crazy. See, with an 8-hour shift broken up into quarters, that's just 4 2-hour shifts. After punching in, chatting with the MOD, and putting your gloves on, you can glance at your watch and say, "Wow, I'm almost halfway to being halfway done with half my shift." It makes the time fly right by. You'll be fine, kid. Just remember, smile. You're representing the company. Remember, say hello to people when they walk in the door. And remember, when they look right through you, you're still there. So yeah, I hope you like that. I have a lot more to share on September 2nd. In the meantime, one thing I should throw out there is that, a lot of my work, almost all of my work, is available online, on YouTube and at my website, guante.info. I also just released a new kind of sampler mix of what I think are all the best songs I ever wrote and recorded. That's also a free download at my website. So if any faculty or staff or students want to check any of that stuff out and kind of start these conversations early, by all means, check that stuff out. Guante.info. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, all over the place. And really, I'm looking forward to it. I think we can do some cool stuff and hopefully have a very memorable Student Success Day. So I will see you soon. Thank you.